Solar Storm 2025 Internet Crash Spiritual Awakening. Imagine, if you will, the unfolding scenario of Solar Storm 2025. It's a time when the very heart of our solar system, the Sun, could abruptly switch off the sprawling global internet, yet simultaneously ignite a forgotten ember within the human heart. In that extraordinary moment, the vast, silent canvas of the sky seems to truly open, and the soul, stripped of its digital distractions, begins to remember the profound truth of its own essence. Pause for a moment and truly envision a world where everything you effortlessly take for granted suddenly becomes precariously unstable. Picture the familiar signal bars on your cell phone, those steadfast symbols of connectivity beginning to flicker, then dwindle, and finally vanish altogether. Web pages, once loading with instantaneous ease, now stall interminably, displaying only the frustrating spinning wheel of death. Messages, sent with optimistic haste, remain stubbornly stuck in the dreaded sending limbo, never quite reaching their destination. Your GPS navigator, once an infallible guide, now displays a bewildering error, utterly lost and unable to pinpoint its own location. The television, a constant companion in countless homes, shows a frozen, pixelated image, a digital ghost of entertainment that never quite resolves itself back into clarity. Outside, the air buzzes with an unfamiliar tension. Headlines, no longer relegated to glowing screens, blare warnings of a severe solar storm, describing an unprecedented surge in solar activity. Scientists speak of charged particles, a maelstrom emanating from the sun, striking Earth's delicate magnetic field with extraordinary force, threatening to wreak havoc on critical electrical systems, disrupt high-frequency communications, scramble vital navigation signals, and, perhaps most disturbingly, dismantle the very internet you interact with every single day, almost without a second thought. Now, truly immerse yourself in that scene. Observe calmly, almost as if watching a film, as your mind, subtly, imperceptibly at first, begins to grapple with a torrent of unsettling questions. What if this isn't just a temporary glitch, but a catastrophic system crash? What if the digital umbilical cord connecting you to the world is severed, leaving you unable to communicate with anyone? What if the intricately woven tapestry of the world, as you've always known it, unravels and irrevocably changes in a mere matter of hours? In that chilling moment, the solar storm transcends its scientific classification as a celestial phenomenon. It transforms into something far more personal, a stark, unblinking mirror reflecting your own inherent fragility and exposing just how much of your deeply held sense of security has been unconsciously tethered to and utterly dependent upon external technological constructs. The truly curious and profound aspect of this potential crisis is that precisely when everything appears to be dissolving into chaos, it might also be the exact, pivotal instant when something infinitely deeper and more authentic begins to stir and be born within you. Amidst that palpable technological fragility, that unnerving digital silence, something remarkably resilient and powerful endures, remaining entirely intact: your heart. Not merely the physical organ rhythmically pumping blood, but rather your heart as a luminous center of consciousness, an enduring wellspring of empathy, a sacred meeting point where your very humanity converges with something far greater and more expansive than yourself. While the world scientists meticulously describe the storm's intensity in escalating levels, from the subtle hum of AG1 to the earth-shattering roar of AG5. While they classify such an event as intensely significant, perhaps the second to last on their formidable scale of potential disruption, your soul, that intuitive inner compass, perceives something entirely different. It apprehends a kind of silent, resonant call, an ancestral whisper, a powerful reminder that you're not merely a passive user of intricate external systems, but an energetic, vibrant being intimately connected to a vast, intricate cosmic fabric that predates all human invention. Your heart, this inner sanctuary, does not depend on towering antennas or orbiting satellites to sustain its vibrant pulse. Instead, it beats with an ancient, inherent wisdom, a profound rhythm that existed long before humanity ever conceived of the concepts of a signal or coverage area. Within the steady cadence of its beat lie countless messages, profound truths you may have inadvertently ignored for years, perhaps even decades. The deep, pervasive fatigue stemming from a life perpetually lived in a frantic hurry. The accumulated sadness, a quiet ache born from the consistent neglect of your own inner voice, your authentic needs. The persistent, wistful nostalgia for a simpler, more authentic existence, unburdened by the relentless demands of the modern world. When the external world, with all its familiar certainties, suddenly becomes profoundly uncertain and unreliable, that steadfast internal center extends an urgent invitation, compelling you to engage in an act you rarely perform with genuine sincerity. It asks you to stop, truly stop, and with unwavering honesty, ask yourself who, in the deepest sense, am I? For when everything that sustains you from the outside begins to falter, to crumble, the answers must inevitably arise from within. This very text, this extended reflection, emerges from that precise meeting point, not to sow the seeds of fear or to irresponsibly feed alarmism, but rather to take this event, which appears purely physical and technological on the surface, and illuminate its profound, invisible dimension, its spiritual resonance. Indeed, the sun expels colossal amounts of material into space, a majestic, fiery dance of cosmic power. The Earth's protective magnetosphere shudders and shakes under the invisible onslaught. The northern lights, usually a distant and elusive spectacle, intensify with an unearthly glow, approaching unusual southern latitudes, painting the night sky with vibrant, ethereal brushstrokes. But simultaneously, something profound within you also begins to demand a rearrangement, an internal recalibration. Old patterns of thought and behavior that no longer serve your deepest truth begin to feel constricting. Dependencies, subtle yet powerful, that have subtly chained you to comfort zones, now chafe with newfound intensity. Fears that have long governed your life, pulling your strings without you ever truly questioning their authority, suddenly come into sharp, undeniable focus. Perhaps you felt it for years, a persistent, quiet hum beneath the surface of your consciousness. That subtle, gnawing sensation that you can no longer continue to drift through life on autopilot. That there is something deep within you, a primal urge, demanding a more authentic, more present existence, an existence less predicated on superficial appearances and more deeply rooted in genuine, conscious presence. This solar storm, with its visibly dramatic effects on our intricate technology, can also be understood as the perfect, powerful metaphor for an internal storm that was already brewing, perhaps silently, beneath the surface of your awareness. It's a cosmic force that arrives to shake what is false, to expose what you meticulously hide, to tear down those long-held internal structures, those carefully constructed facades that can no longer bear the immense, growing weight of your own evolving soul. Therefore, it is not merely about gaining a scientific understanding of what a solar storm is, but about comprehending the profound, personal transformation it awakens within you. What uncomfortable truths does it reveal about your established way of living? How can this external crisis become a potent mirror reflecting your own intricate internal process, forcing you to confront aspects of yourself you've long avoided? Because truly, behind every compelling scientific fact, there lies a profound spiritual question. What then do I do with this revelation, this disruption? From what deeper place within myself do I choose to experience and respond to it? Do I succumb to the paralyzing grip of fear, allowing it to dictate my every move, or do I consciously choose to harness it, to leverage this cosmic event as a powerful catalyst for a profound internal change that I have perhaps been postponing for a very long time? This journey you are implicitly beginning now is not a dry, technical analysis of solar physics. It is a sacred invitation. It calls upon you to utilize what dramatically unfolds in the sky as a profound door, a portal through which to enter your own vast, often unexplored inner universe, that quiet, sacred space you almost never visit with calm intention. Yet paradoxically, it contains all the authentic answers you tirelessly seek outside yourself. Breathe deeply, fully, letting the breath ground you. Now, imagine the sun, our star, not just as a fiery ball of gas, but as a great stellar heart, majestically beating with life-giving energy over all of us. Imagine our Earth, our blue sphere, enveloping itself in shimmering, dancing lights, a protective, ethereal embrace. And imagine that in the midst of this cosmic ballet, you are there, standing at a crossroads, consciously deciding whether you will simply experience this momentous event as a mere anecdote of internet failures and momentary inconvenience, or as a powerful, transformative portal leading to a profound, irreversible shift in your entire way of inhabiting life. That momentous choice, remember, is entirely yours, and its initiation begins right now, in this very moment. Breathe once more, feeling the reassuring weight of your body, the solid contact with the place where you're seated or standing, the steady, rhythmic sound of your own breathing, a constant anchor. The world outside may tremble with uncertainty. Global networks may catastrophically crash, and news, both factual and frenzied, may multiply with dizzying speed, but there remains a quiet, unwavering point within you that stands utterly motionless, serene, and undisturbed, much like the tranquil eye of a raging hurricane. You have a choice. You can either impulsively run past it, frantically seeking quick, superficial answers in the external chaos, or you can decide, with unwavering dignity, to cross through it, knowing with absolute certainty that what awaits you on the other side is not just mere information, but an unvarnished, profound encounter with your truest, deepest self. The majestic pulse of the sun and the subtle, sacred pulse of the soul, intricately linked. Every so often, with breathtaking displays of power, the sun reminds us, with undeniable clarity, that it is not a static, passive background element in the sky, but a vibrant, living, conscious presence. It manifests this through dramatic eruptions, through colossal coronal mass ejections, immense expulsions of plasma and magnetic fields, and through dynamic, ever-changing fluctuations in its activity. It marks powerful, ancient rhythms that, although often imperceptible to our casual glance, impact our Earth in both visibly dramatic and subtly profound ways. This anticipated solar storm is therefore not simply an intriguing astronomical curiosity, it is a resonant, urgent call to look far beyond the obvious, to peer past the surface-level disruptions. When you hear the evocative phrase that the sun awakens is far more than a mere poetic expression, it signifies that its activity is intensifying, that it is releasing an unprecedented surge of energy, that it is sending powerful waves of charged particles traveling at immense, unimaginable speeds, hurtling into the vastness of space, bathing all the surrounding planets, including our own. The Earth, with its delicate, shimmering magnetic field, its ethereal planetary shield, receives that powerful cosmic impact and, in its own majestic way, responds. We, who are fortunate enough to inhabit this vibrant blue sphere, suspended in an almost unfathomable immensity, we often feel this precarious balance most acutely when the very technology we rely upon stutters and fails. Yet this sense of being adrift, of vulnerability, isn't confined to the external world of flickering screens and silent networks. It resonates, often more subtly, deep within our bodies, in the intricate workings of our minds, and most profoundly in the quiet chambers of our hearts. Imagine the sun, not merely as a distant star, but as a colossal, cosmic heart beating at the very center of our solar system. Its magnificent rhythmic pulses don't just translate into the brilliant light that bathes our days or the life-giving heat that warms our planet, but also into an ethereal, powerful solar wind, a constant torrent of charged particles streaming outwards. When this solar wind intensifies, surging with a renewed cosmic breath, the Earth's majestic magnetosphere, our planetary shield, our invisible protector, immediately responds. It contracts, shimmers, vibrates, and bravely reorganizes itself, adapting to the immense energetic pressure. And what are the ripples of this cosmic ballet on our terrestrial existence? Consider the countless antennas reaching skyward, the precision satellites orbiting above, the vast, intricate electrical grids that power our lives, the unerring navigation systems guiding our journeys, the high-frequency communications bridging continents. Every single thread in this complex tapestry of modern life, every system that hinges upon the exquisitely delicate dance between human technology and the Earth's protective magnetic field, is profoundly affected. From crackling radio waves to navigation systems momentarily thrown off course, the vulnerability becomes starkly apparent. But while all this cosmic drama unfolds in the vastness beyond and the immediate environment around us, there exists within each of us another pulse, a different rhythm. This is a subtle current, an internal melody that, regrettably, we almost never tune into with the true attention it deserves. This other pulse is the silent, profound beat of your very soul. It won't register on a medical electrocardiogram, nor will its presence be noted in any clinical report, yet you undoubtedly perceive it. You sense its quiet wisdom when a profound inner knowing whispers, "It's this way, isn't it?" A potent gut instinct that guides you without logical explanation. You feel it when your skin prickles with an inexplicable chill or a sudden warmth, a subtle warning or affirmation that defies any apparent external reason. It manifests when a vivid dream insists on repeating itself, weaving a persistent message through your subconscious, or when a deep, unyielding fatigue compels you to pause, to stop, even as everything in your external world seems perfectly normal and demands continued motion. Just as the sun cycles through phases of intense activity and tranquil stillness, so too do you, a microcosm of the cosmos, experience your own internal seasons, periods of expansive creativity, moments of quiet contraction and introspection, bursts of explosive energy and innovation, and serene phases of deep stillness and rest. Yet so often we live our lives with such an intense outward focus, constantly engaged with the external world, that we have simply forgotten how to recognize, honor, and harmonize with these natural, innate rhythms within ourselves. How often do we truly pause to feel these inner tides? Moreover, your heart, beyond its vital physical function of pumping blood, generates its own potent electromagnetic field. This field, radiating far wider and stronger than that of any other organ in your body, is a vibrant, energetic aura. It, too, expands and contracts, achieving states of harmonious order or turbulent disorder, meticulously mirroring your prevailing emotional states. Think of it when your life is dominated by constant fear, by the gnawing anguish and anxiety about an uncertain future, by the relentless stress of trying to control every single outcome. Your internal energetic field becomes chaotic, a tempestuous storm of dissonance. But when you consciously allow yourself to breathe deeply, to release your grip on what cannot be controlled, to trust in the unfolding of life, and to embrace genuine gratitude, that very field harmonizes, becoming exquisitely coherent, a steady, luminous beacon. Can you imagine for a moment that your emotions aren't merely ephemeral feelings, but powerful waves of energy that truly emanate from you, actively shaping and affecting your immediate environment? Consider this when you enter a new space and feel the atmosphere is inexplicably dense, heavy, or laden with tension. Even if no one has uttered a single word, you're in fact subtly reading these very energetic fields. Conversely, when you are deeply at peace, radiating calm, and others instinctively feel a sense of tranquility and ease in your presence, it is also your harmonized field silently operating, extending its influence. The solar storm, then, serves as a powerful, undeniable reminder that the entire universe, from the grandest galaxy to the smallest cell, functions through these intricate fields, resonating frequencies and ceaseless vibrations. The profound state of your heart is not merely a private anecdote, a personal experience. It is your fundamental way of participating, moment by moment, in the great, interconnected, energetic fabric of the entire planet. So, what precisely happens when solar activity surges and this planetary energetic environment becomes more unstable, more charged? Many individuals, without ever understanding the underlying cosmic reasons, begin to experience a cluster of unsettling symptoms, a pervasive fatigue that drags at their limbs, an inexplicable irritability that leads to snapping at trivialities, throbbing headaches that defy painkillers, restless insomnia leaving them staring at the ceiling, and a roller coaster of emotional disturbances. This isn't always simply your personal problem, your individual failing often. It is the planet's vast energetic ocean moving, shifting, and reorganizing itself, and we are all waves within that shared experience. Just as the sun exhales gigantic, potent impulses into the boundless expanse of space, so too do you. In response, exhale accumulated tensions, lingering fears, and outdated memories that can no longer be sustained or contained within your being. Perhaps you find yourself more sensitive than usual, reacting with exaggerated intensity to seemingly small provocations, or feeling a deep melancholy that arrives without any clear, logical reason. Before rushing to judge yourself harshly, before concluding that something is inherently wrong with you, take a moment to recognize this profound truth: you are an integral, living part of a much larger, interconnected organism, the Earth itself. In an agitated ocean, it is perfectly normal, even expected, for every individual wave to move with greater force, to feel the turbulence more keenly. The truly important thing is not to deny this agitation, to pretend it doesn't exist, but rather to learn how to skillfully surf these powerful waves, to navigate them without sinking. Every symptom, every subtle internal shift can be read not as a flaw, but as a vital message, a communication from your deeper self. Therefore, slow down. Intentionally decelerate your pace. Listen intently to the wisdom of your body, paying attention to its whispers and its cries. Above all, do not ignore the profound, often quiet, urgings of your heart. Instead of staying perpetually trapped in the anxiety-inducing question of what will happen next, you possess the power to deliberately turn your gaze towards another, infinitely more powerful question: what is truly happening inside me in the face of what is unfolding outside? Gently place your hands over your chest, close your eyes for a few precious moments, and listen not with your external ears, but with deep, conscious internal attention. Is your breath short, shallow, and constricted, or is it fluid, deep, and expansive? Is your mind racing uncontrollably, or does something within you yearn for a profound pause? Does your heart remember that it beats steadfast and true, far beyond the clamor of the daily headlines? When you consciously change the question you ask, the very quality of your internal experience fundamentally shifts. The relentless focus ceases to be solely on the external event, and instead, it gracefully shifts to your rich inner world, precisely where you possess the genuine power to effect meaningful change. You may not hold the power to halt a raging solar storm in its tracks, for that is beyond human control. But you absolutely can decide whether to allow yourself to be swept into the currents of collective hysteria, or whether to consciously utilize this very turbulent movement as an extraordinary opportunity to know yourself more deeply, more authentically. Perhaps in this profound pause, you will discover that it has been years, perhaps even decades, since you truly sat down to simply feel without the distracting glow of screen, without the incessant clamor of external noise, without the easy escape routes of distraction. This moment, this very disruption, might be precisely the moment you've been waiting for. By inhaling deeply, counting slowly to 4, and then exhaling deliberately, counting to 6, you're not merely regulating your physiological nervous system, you are, in a profound sense, aligning yourself with a deeper, more fundamental truth of existence. The sun, in its magnificent power, can undoubtedly agitate Earth's magnetic fields, causing widespread ripple effects. But your heart, your inner core, possesses the innate capacity to decide precisely in what frequency it chooses to remain, regardless of the external turbulence. That, my friend, is the first truly great act of spiritual sovereignty, a declaration of inner freedom, forged right in the midst of solar storm. It is the conscious remembrance that while you may not control the powerful, external pulse of the sun, you absolutely can consciously dialogue, intimately and intentionally, with the gentle, guiding pulse of your own soul. When you breathe in this manner slowly, deeply, and with profound awareness, you are sending an unequivocal message to your entire body that it is not in immediate danger, that it can safely step out of its primal survival mode. In doing so, you create sacred space for your consciousness to perceive something far grander and more expansive than mere fear. Perhaps it's a flash of intuitive insight, a brilliant new idea, or a profound, liberating understanding about the trajectory of your life. Little by little, that mindful breathing transforms into an unbreakable bridge, connecting the external chaos that surrounds you with an unwavering internal peace that resides within. You don't magically cancel the storm, no, but you consciously choose from where you will experience it, from what vantage point you will engage with its energy. And in that silent act, often almost invisible to the eyes of others, you begin to remember something absolutely essential: you are not the storm. You are the resilient, aware being who possesses the profound capacity to cross it, fully awake and utterly present. When technology falls silent, that is when the golden silence truly begins, the silence that reveals your most authentic truth. We live in an era saturated by signals, overwhelmed by waves, inundated with data. This cacophony, this ceaseless stream of information, forms the visible, often deceptive layer of our modern existence. Icons light up our screens, notifications incessantly pop up, digital sounds announce messages, alerts, emails, and new videos. A part of us, deeply ingrained, feels a profound sense of security when we see full Wi-Fi bars, maximum cellular coverage, and platforms effortlessly playing content without interruption. It's as if the world itself is in perfect order, pristine and functional, so long as all these digital systems are working flawlessly. We have, tragically, confused the fleeting feeling of being online with the profound, embodied experience of being truly present, as if the genuine heartbeat of life itself were somehow dependent on the ephemeral happenings on a screen. However, it is not. Life's true pulse beats independently. Events like a severe solar storm starkly reveal just how fragile and illusory that perceived digital order truly is. It takes only for the sun to exhale with a little more cosmic force, for its activity to intensify, even marginally, for that seemingly solid, unbreakable network of connectivity to suddenly reveal its inherent vulnerability. What we had taken for granted, what had appeared utterly unbreakable and endlessly reliable, begins quite simply to fail. The digital tether that binds us to the incessant hum of the online world begins to fray. The signal becomes frustratingly intermittent. Web pages take an eternity to load. Critical platforms crash and flicker offline for agonizing moments. Yet, amidst this unsettling, apparent technological chaos, something profound and unbidden appears, a space you rarely, if ever, allow yourself a profound, almost startling quietude, a sanctuary from the relentless barrage of noise. When the delicate threads of telecommunications inevitably begin to fail, when eagerly anticipated messages are inexplicably delayed, when video calls freeze, pixelate, and abruptly cut off, when a once reliable GPS becomes a clumsy, bewildering guide, its confident blue line vanishing into blankness. And when your television screen shows nothing but static interference, a new, almost palpable silence descends. This isn't merely acoustic silence, the absence of sound waves in the air. No, it's a deeper, more profound stillness, the silence born from the abrupt absence of constant external stimuli, the ceaseless stream of notifications, updates, and demands. It's as if an invisible, powerful current, one that habitually pulled your focus outwards, towards the peripheral world, suddenly halts, leaving you starkly, vulnerably, face to face with yourself, utterly stripped of your usual digital distractions. For countless individuals, this sudden cessation of digital white noise is not a welcome reprieve, but a jarring, even disquieting experience. It feels confronting, perhaps even painfully unsettling, because when the external clamor of the world finally dims and turns off, the long-suppressed echo of everything you had meticulously decided not to listen to within your own heart and mind amplifies, reverberating with an intensity that can feel overwhelming. These are the gnawing doubts, the unfulfilled longings, the simmering resentments, the whispers of regret or unaddressed pain. Yet, nestled precisely within this initially uncomfortable quietude, there lies an immense, often overlooked treasure, a truly gigantic opportunity. This is a chance to finally, truly meet the voice you've been diligently silencing, perhaps for years, even decades. That voice, you see, is not one that shouts with aggressive demands, or competes for attention, or clamors for recognition instead. It's a gentle, persistent cadence, a quiet inner knowing that simply, steadfastly insists. This profound inner voice appears in myriad subtle forms, perhaps as a quiet gut feeling that something is amiss, a deep, unsettling discomfort that settles in your bones, or a soft, almost imperceptible nocturnal whisper that gently, yet powerfully, suggests the way you are living, the path you are currently treading, does not truly feel complete or aligned with your deepest self. You, like many, have become a master of deflection, skillfully burying these inconvenient truths beneath layers of constant stimulation, the pulsing rhythms of streamed music, the endless scroll of captivating videos, the safe chatter of superficial conversations, the relentless grind of excessive work, the curated realities of social media, feeds, anything, really, that can serve as a potent anesthetic to numb the stark, unsettling discomfort of a true self-inventory. Now, this celestial intervention, this cosmic tremor from a distant sun, acts as an unexpected, albeit temporary, circuit breaker. The solar storm, by fundamentally interfering with external communications, creates a small, precious respite in that relentless dynamic. It's a powerful paradox, less signal outside, dramatically more possibility for an internal signal to finally, clearly resonate inside. In the relentless current of your daily life, you may habitually postpone those vital, profound conversations with yourself. You utter the convenient mantra, I simply don't have the bandwidth right now to delve into the intricate labyrinth of what I truly feel, what I genuinely yearn for, or the raw, throbbing pulse of what truly pains me. You routinely silence the delicate, nascent seedlings of intuition because the thunderous roar of external demands and the cacophony of digital chatter are simply too overwhelming. You know, deep down, that there are accumulating piles of unresolved decisions, transformative changes you long to initiate, festering emotional wounds that cry out for attention and healing. But the relentless, glittering torrent of notifications, the seductive currents of social media, the ever-present churn of news feeds, and the myriad other digital diversions relentlessly pull you along, a swift river of distraction that offers absolutely no quiet eddy, no tranquil backwater for the profound vulnerability of genuine self-honesty. And although this ceaseless distraction may function like a potent, yet fleeting analgesic, momentarily dulling the sharp edges of your inner disquiet and granting a brief reprieve, it's crucial to understand that it offers no true healing, no lasting resolution. It merely shrouds the underlying issues, tucking them away just out of sight. Then, in a celestial blink, the solar storm, a powerful ripple from the sun's fiery heart, disrupts this meticulously maintained flow, causing the gears of the digital world to grind, to slow, perhaps even to momentarily cease. And in that subtle yet significant deceleration, a surprising new aperture, a crack in the carefully constructed facade, begins to emerge. What initially manifests as a stark sense of loss, the vanishing access, the abrupt cessation of connectivity, quickly morphs into a simmering annoyance, then perhaps a surge of searing frustration at the perceived failure of the technology. But if we allow ourselves to look beyond the immediate irritation, this seemingly inconvenient disruption can profoundly transform, becoming an unexpected, shimmering portal to deeper realms. Imagine an unbidden gift of minutes stretching before you, utterly devoid of the insistent ping of incoming messages, tranquil spaces untouched by the ceaseless clamor of digital information, moments where the only screen illuminated before you is the vast, intricate canvas of your own consciousness. And here, at this profound juncture, a critical question inevitably unfurls itself. Hanging in the quiet air like a solitary bell, what, precisely, will you choose to do with this unprecedented, unscripted void? Will your immediate impulse be to frantically scramble for another form of external distraction, another ingenious way to re-erect the walls of noise, perhaps by diving into a physical book, a conversation, anything to avoid the starkness? Or will you summon the profound courage to simply be within this unfamiliar expanse, to inhabit its quiet corners, even if it feels unnervingly empty? Even if an initial wave of discomfort washes over you, threatening to propel you back to the familiar, remember that this very instant holds the transformative potential to elevate that raw, unadorned silence into something sacred, to fashion it into an altar for profound introspection. To create this hallowed space, there's no need for elaborate rituals or expensive accoutrements. The essentials are wonderfully humble, a simple notebook waiting to capture nascent thoughts, a trusty pencil poised for revelation, a glass of water to anchor you to the present, a candle whose flickering flame is kindled with deliberate care and conscious awareness, and a spot where you can simply be in comfort. It is not the tangible objects, however thoughtfully chosen, that imbue this moment with its sanctity, but rather the purity and strength of your underlying intention. When the very systems that tether us to the superficial world compel an external disconnection, you are simultaneously granted an extraordinary opportunity, a profound invitation. In fact, to consciously choose to reconnect to something infinitely more profound, more authentic within yourself. You can make a deliberate, powerful decision that with the sudden cessation of the clamorous external noise, this becomes the precise, long-anticipated moment to finally, truly listen to absorb every single truth, every long-held yearning, every whispered secret that your soul has been patiently, persistently endeavoring to communicate to you for what feels like an eternity. Settle into your chosen sanctuary and begin to write, allowing your thoughts to flow onto the page without any pretense, without any internal filter. Pose the audacious questions that you, in the relentless pursuit of comfort or conformity, have almost never dared to articulate, even to yourself. Resist the seductive urge to seek out pretty answers, those sugar-coated responses designed to maintain superficial peace. Instead, courageously pursue the raw, unvarnished truth, however uncomfortable it may initially feel. Grant your hand the unparalleled freedom to glide across the page. Unfettered by self-censorship, give your heart the unburdened permission to speak its deepest truths, wholly liberated from the pervasive fear of external judgment or internal criticism. With unflinching courage, pose these piercing inquiries to your innermost self. What segments of my meticulously constructed life are, in fact, merely upheld by the inertia of routine, by the force of sheer habit, rather than being nourished by the vibrant wellspring of authentic truth? What actions do I meticulously perform? What roles do I diligently play, solely for the fleeting balm of external acceptance, even as the very core of my soul cries out, screams for an entirely different trajectory? And if, by some grand cosmic shift, the internet were to vanish not for an hour, but for an enduring stretch of time, what elements of my daily existence would unequivocally retain their profound, undeniable essence and essentiality? Understand that these are not mere inquiries, they are potent, intricately crafted keys. Each one of these profound questions holds the power to unlock a forgotten door, revealing a hidden internal chamber, a sacred space within your being that you may have consciously or unconsciously kept bolted shut, gathering dust for countless years. Resist the ingrained impulse to hastily formulate superficial mental answers, to intellectualize them away. Instead, practice the profound art of simply staying with these questions, allowing them to truly resonate within the deepest recesses of your spirit. Permit them to gently, yet profoundly, pierce through your defenses to stir the tranquil waters of your inner world, even to create a palpable sense of discomfort. For it is precisely from this fertile soil of raw, unvarnished discomfort that the luminous flower of true authenticity is destined to bloom. The very silence that initially manifested as an ominous threat, a void to be frantically filled, now subtly, yet powerfully, transmutes into a wise and patient teacher, revealing truths that the clamor could never divulge. This is not an invitation to romanticize the technological blackout, nor to summarily dismiss or deny the very real discomfort it can undeniably bring. Rather, it is a profound exhortation to view this unforeseen cut in connectivity as an unexpected, serendipitous crack in the familiar edifice of your digital life, a narrow, yet potent, aperture through which a new, illuminating light can finally stream in. That precious, golden silence is emphatically not some cosmic punishment arbitrarily meted out by a disapproving universe, nor is it the fiery vengeance of an angry, celestial orb. On the contrary, it is a divinely gifted space, a sanctuary where you are empowered to truly see yourself, divested of the carefully constructed masks you wear for the world, stripped clean of the ubiquitous digital filters that alter perception, and entirely free from the relentless, often debilitating, treadmill of constant comparison with others. In this sacred crucible of quiet, the hollow metrics that once held sway, the fleeting affirmation of likes, the illusory weight of follower counts, the ceaseless influx of incoming messages suddenly lose all their superficial significance, dissolving into irrelevance. All at once, in this startling absence of external validation, the only truly resonant indicator, the sole metric that holds any profound meaning, dramatically shifts. The question that now looms large, demanding an honest reckoning, is simply this: how profoundly at peace are you with the unvarnished essence of who you are when the entire world is no longer observing, no longer judging, no longer even aware? It is in this crucible of quiet introspection that you unearth an undeniable, transformative truth. Your inherent value resides not in the sheer volume of digital missives that flood your inbox, nor in the endless stream of content you meticulously consume, but rather profoundly in the depth and authenticity of the relationship you meticulously cultivate with your own inner being. A startling realization dawns: you can entirely lose your digital tether to the sprawling network and still, unequivocally, be vibrantly alive. Yet, conversely, to sever the vital connection to your own self is to be cast utterly adrift, lost in an existential void, even if, paradoxically, the external world continues to operate with flawless, seamless perfection around you. In these hallowed moments, you begin to catch tantalizing glimpses of a profound, ancient truth, one that resonates deep within your bones. It might just be that the most significant, the most debilitating disconnection you have ever experienced in your entire life was never, in essence, technological. Instead, it was a profound spiritual and emotional severance, a quiet chasm that grew within. As the clamor of technology inevitably recedes into a profound, almost reverent silence, the sole voice that truly resonates, the one that holds undeniable gravity, is the voice that has patiently, perpetually awaited its turn, patiently biding its time behind the ceaseless din and digital static, the luminous, unwavering voice of your very own soul. And perhaps, just perhaps, this celestial storm, this cosmic shakeup, is far more than a mere inconvenience. It is, in fact, an urgent, undeniable invitation, a clarion call to finally, deliberately begin listening to that profound inner wisdom. Not because some apocalyptic prophecy is unfolding, or because the world as you know it is on the brink of collapse, but rather because your old world, the familiar realm meticulously constructed from habits, routines, and beliefs that have perhaps subtly ceased to authentically represent your evolving self, is now unequivocally yearning, demanding to be transformed, to be reshaped into something more resonant. And the profound, ancient wisdom residing within the voice of your soul, it implicitly knows precisely how to guide this magnificent metamorphosis. But to truly perceive this subtle, profound voice, to truly receive its vital guidance, you must cultivate a deliberate, sacred space, even if only for a few precious minutes each day. Will you conscientiously allow the cacophony of everything else to gently, gradually fall silent? Consider the breathtaking spectacle of the auroras, those celestial ballets of light that grace our skies. Just as these external phenomena erupt in vibrant hues, a similar rainbow of energy and insight, mirroring the subtle energy centers of the chakras, awakens and radiates within you, if only you give it the silent space to unfurl. Indeed, it is when the solar storms rage with their most potent energy that the ethereal northern lights, the aurora borealis, transform from distant phenomena into magnificent, undeniable protagonists in the celestial theater. The heavens above, typically a canvas of deep, silent darkness in these high-latitude regions, are suddenly awash, saturated, with mesmerizing, shimmering curtains of emerald green, royal violet, fiery red, and luminous blue light, all dancing with an otherworldly grace, weaving intricate patterns against the cosmic backdrop. It's as if the very firmament, in a sudden, glorious act of cosmic remembrance, recalls its inherent capacity to be not merely a vast, static expanse, but a living, breathing, extraordinarily vibrant, and perpetually moving canvas of light and energy. Many dream of seeing that awe-inspiring beauty at least once in their life, to feel a profound connection to the grandeur of the universe, and perhaps, in that very moment, to glimpse the interconnectedness between the cosmic dance above and the silent, powerful awakening within their own spirit. To stand beneath that vast, living sky that breathes with unimaginable hues, to truly feel, even for a fleeting instant, how the invisible currents of energy coalesce into a spectacular display. This is an experience that awakens wonder. What many may not yet fully grasp is that, on a profoundly symbolic level, they carry that very same cosmic dance, that vibrant spectacle, within the intricate tapestry of their own being. Each chakra, each radiant energy center nestled along the spine, can be envisioned as a distinct, shimmering strip of light woven into your own internal sky, a personal aurora waiting to ignite. When the threads of your existence fray, when you find yourself living in profound disconnection from the innate wisdom of your body, the deep currents of your emotions, and the expansive whisper of your spirit, these vital centers invariably feel dim, clouded, or profoundly blocked. This isn't a flaw inherent to your being, rather, it's a natural consequence, for energy, like water, inevitably stagnates where it encounters no attentive gaze, no loving recognition, or where it's met with the rigid walls of fear and outright denial. Yet, when you bravely choose to surrender to the unfolding, often challenging process of truly feeling, deeply healing, fully accepting, and consciously transforming, something miraculous occurs. These centers begin to blaze with an incandescent brilliance, illuminating your entire energetic field like a complete, magnificent aurora that courses through every fiber of your spine. Consider the actual solar storm, that colossal cosmic event which triggers the breathtaking auroras in our physical skies, not merely as an external phenomenon, but as a profound, perhaps even divinely orchestrated, call to activate your own internal aurora. Imagine for a moment that while outside, the Earth's magnetosphere vibrates with unseen forces and the polar lights expand to latitudes previously unimaginable. Inside you, a distinct kind of loving storm is also stirring. It's a gentle yet potent energetic deluge, yearning to cleanse away accumulated debris, unblock stagnant pathways, and illuminate the deepest recesses of your being. Instead of fixating solely on potential external risks or anxieties, dare to ask yourself what vital force, what nascent energy is actively attempting to stir life within me right now. Close your eyes for a few quiet minutes, allowing the outer world to recede. Now, visualize a deep, resonant light that is born at the very base of your spine, a rich, elemental red. This isn't just any color, it's the foundational hue that represents your undeniable right to exist, your primal claim to be vibrantly alive, to occupy your sacred, irreplaceable place in this vast world. It's often in this foundational center, this root chakra, that ancient fears find their lodging, the gnawing fear of scarcity, the sharp sting of rejection, the profound ache of abandonment. Allow that reddish light, like a warm, compassionate hand, to gently caress those fears, acknowledging their presence without a trace of judgment. The objective here is not to forcibly expel them, to banish them into oblivion, but rather to look upon them, perhaps for the very first time, with a profound sense of self-compassion and understanding. Perhaps you carry faint, lingering memories where you felt an acute sense of not enough resources, not enough love, not enough space. Perhaps you remember a time when you believed you had to relentlessly fight, to constantly prove your worthiness, merely to justify the very ground you stand upon. Perhaps, in moments of deep vulnerability, you even harbored the subconscious belief that simply being alive was almost a mistake, a burdensome responsibility, or a permission granted on tenuous loan. This deep red light, when it truly ignites within you, reminds you of an essential, undeniable truth: you are here unequivocally because life, in its infinite wisdom and boundless generosity, desired your presence. You did not arrive by some cosmic accident. Your existence holds intrinsic meaning, a sacred purpose, even if its full breadth and depth are not yet entirely clear to your conscious mind. Allow that deep, anchoring red light to gently ascend, rising from the base of your spine to your lower belly, where it transforms into a vibrant, flowing orange. This sacral chakra is the pulsating core of your creativity, the wellspring of your sensuality, your innate, uninhibited ability to revel in the sheer pleasure of being alive. This pleasure transcends mere fleeting digital stimuli, inviting you instead into a rich, embodied experience through the gentle warmth of a loving embrace, the intoxicating whisper of an exotic aroma, the breathtaking spectrum of natural colors, the nuanced explosion of flavors on your tongue. Yet, this energetic center often bears the weight of lingering guilt, the constricting grip of shame, and various blockages intricately associated with genuine enjoyment. Perhaps through upbringing or societal conditioning, you absorb the subtle, insidious message that it wasn't right to feel too deeply, to desire too passionately, to express yourself too freely, or to move your body with unbridled joy. Take a moment to truly ponder, when was the last time you indulged in something purely for pleasure, without rushing, without a shadow of guilt, without the incessant demands of multitasking vying for your attention? When was the last time you ate a meal, simply breathed, or walked with no other agenda than to fully feel each sensation, rather than merely using these actions as a means to reach some distant, future destination. The light continues its gentle ascent, now reaching the solar plexus, just above your navel, where it blossoms into a radiant, illuminating yellow. Here, your personal power ignites not the aggressive, domineering force often mistaken for strength, but rather the quiet, unwavering resolve, the gentle yet formidable strength of truly knowing that you possess the inherent capacity to choose, to initiate change, to establish clear, healthy boundaries, and to unequivocally say no when something profoundly betrays your deepest inner truth. This is your core of self-definition and personal agency. It is also within this center that the insidious feeling of insufficiency frequently lodges, alongside the relentless need to constantly prove your worth and the insidious addiction to the approval of others. Perhaps the metaphor of the external solar storm serves as a poignant reminder you cannot control the sun's immense power, nor the unpredictable forces of the universe. However, you can absolutely begin to reclaim profound control over your own daily choices, those seemingly small decisions that cumulatively shape your reality. You can consciously decide what thoughts you choose to feed, what relationships you lovingly cultivate, what work or projects you sustain with your energy, and what habits you mindfully nourish. This inner domain, this sphere of conscious choice, is your sovereign kingdom, your most sacred and inviolable territory. Next, shift your awareness to your heart center, where the light transforms into a soothing green or a tender pink. This is the sacred sanctuary of your emotional landscape, where past griefs, lingering pains, and profound losses are held, yet is also the source of your infinite, boundless capacity to both give and receive love. It is entirely possible that you carry within you open wounds that span years, the echoes of unhealed farewells, the sharp edges of betrayals, the voids left by abandonments, or the quiet burden of unreleased guilt. As you focus here, allow yourself the profound grace to cry if emotion gently arises. Remember, you are not weak for feeling. On the contrary, you are courageously honest, beautifully human. Each tear that falls, each droplet of release, cleanses a precious part of your internal sky, much like a soft, purifying rain that washes the atmosphere clear, allowing the celestial aurora to be seen with breathtaking clarity. What the analytical mind often struggles to resolve, tears, in their silent wisdom, can frequently release without the need for convoluted explanations or rationalizations. Moving higher, your throat begins to glow with a clear, resonant blue light, inviting you to utilize your voice with unwavering coherence, to speak your truth with authenticity, to articulate what is truly necessary, and to wisely choose to silence that which is destructive or disingenuous. This is the energetic nexus where unsaid words often become lodged, where the crucial notes you dared not pronounce still echo, where the vital enoughs you muted for fear of losing love, jeopardizing work, or sacrificing approval reside. This luminous blue light extends an invitation to courageously rescue your authentic voice, not to wield it as a weapon against others, but to craft it into a bridge for connection, for understanding, and for genuine self-expression. It's about learning to articulate your truth without causing unnecessary hurt, but more importantly, without ever betraying the sanctity of your own being. enabling you to speak what you truly need to say to live in profound peace with yourself. Now, bring your awareness to your brow, glowing with a deep, intuitive indigo. This third eye center gently reminds you that there exists something far beyond the realm of immediate, surface-level information or digital data. There is a profound wellspring of wisdom, a quiet knowing of intuition, and a deep, penetrating understanding that doesn't originate from a screen or external sources, but from a silent, sacred inner connection. In this center, life itself becomes your teacher, guiding you to see beyond mere appearances, to delve into the deeper meaning that underlies all events, all circumstances. This isn't about conjuring fantastical stories or engaging in wishful thinking, but rather about recognizing, with lucid clarity, that even profound crises carry invaluable teachings, that even the intense external solar storm offers you a potent opportunity for spiritual expansion. This newly awakened brow helps you transcend the paralyzing grip of fear, prompting you instead to ask, with an open heart, what essential truth is attempting to reveal itself through all of this. Finally, allow the light to culminate at your crown, shining with a luminous violet or pure white. This crown chakra gently opens you to the expansive, liberating idea that you are not, in fact, alone. You are an integral, interconnected thread within a vast, shimmering network of consciousness that effortlessly transcends geographical countries, spoken languages, and man-made systems. Here, the deeply ingrained feeling of absolute separation begins to gently dissolve, like morning mist in the sun. You begin to grasp with an increasing sense of wonder that just as the external solar storm impacts every single being inhabiting this planet, your own profound inner process is similarly inscribed within something far greater, something cosmic and interconnected. You are a vital participant within a larger humanity that is collectively learning, sometimes through harsh blows, sometimes through moments of unexpected grace, to remember its profound spiritual origin. While the external sky dresses itself in ethereal lights, you can consciously choose to allow your own magnificent internal rainbow to ignite. This inner aurora is, in essence, your true metaphysical response to the storm. A powerful journey of reunion with yourself, layer by layer, color by color, until you fully remember that you are profoundly more than simply a user or observer of reality. You are, in your truest essence, light in motion. And when that light organizes itself, when each energy center begins to receive your focused attention, your conscious breath, and your unwavering love, something fundamental within you irrevocably changes. You will continue to live in the very same world, encountering the same news cycles and facing the same inherent challenges, but you will no longer perceive them from a place of fear, disempowerment, or isolation. The same unsettling internal darkness that has perhaps shadowed your spirit begins to recede. Look closely, and you'll discover that the sky over your life is no longer uniformly overcast with despair or uncertainty. Instead, a silent, yet powerfully radiant rainbow has ignited within you, a shimmering arc of resilience that sustains your very core and, in the midst of life's most turbulent storms, possesses the profound ability to transform everything. This is your internal radar, an innate sensing mechanism, actively transforming raw fear into a dynamic, actionable faith. Consider the present moment when severe solar storms are announced, when the seasoned experts in their labs and observatories gravely speak of potential widespread interference in delicate electrical systems, of frustrating failures in global communications, of disorienting delays in crucial GPS signals, and even of the very real possibility of irreparable damage to sensitive, advanced technology in such a scenario. Isn't it perfectly natural, perfectly human, for a tremor of fear to ripple through you? Indeed, fear possesses an incredibly human, almost primal quality. It doesn't politely knock, it bursts in through the front door of your consciousness, arriving immediately, without seeking your permission, without consulting your readiness, without ever asking if you are prepared for its visit. Instead, it aggressively interrogates, what if this gets exponentially worse? What if we lose everything we've meticulously built, everything we hold dear? What if the comfortable, predictable world, as I've always known it, suddenly shatters and irrevocably changes? This visceral fear, as profoundly uncomfortable as it may be, actually fulfills an indispensable, often overlooked function. It acts as an urgent alarm, compelling you to pay sharp attention, to shake free from the stagnant grip of mental inertia, and to confront the stark realities of your situation with a far greater, much-needed sobriety. Yet, here lies the critical divergence, the pivotal crossroads that ultimately defines the entire trajectory of your life. Feeling fear, in and of itself, is not the problem, it is merely a signal. The true predicament arises when you become hopelessly ensnared, trapped within its icy grip. When fear usurps the throne of your mind, when it becomes the undisputed owner of your thoughts, you inevitably begin to construct elaborate, catastrophic scenarios that are so vivid, so overwhelming, they literally paralyze you. Your breath shortens, transforming into shallow gasps. Your chest constricts with an unbearable tightness, as if an unseen hand is squeezing your very core. Your vital energy inexplicably drains away, leaving you listless. You find yourself utterly disconnected from your inherent inner wisdom, becoming a mere passive spectator, helplessly watching your own spiraling thoughts unfold. But pause, and sense this deep within your being, there exists something far more profound, something quieter and more fundamental than all that frantic internal noise. It is an internal radar, a silent, unwavering consciousness that is remarkably capable of observing every sensation, every emotion you feel, without ever mistaking itself for those transient feelings. Picture that radar as a singular, fixed, luminous, and utterly stable point nestled gently within the quiet sanctuary of your chest. From this profound vantage point, this inner sanctum, you can objectively perceive how your mind ceaselessly projects myriad possibilities, how your body instinctively reacts to perceived threats, how your nervous system dynamically activates. Crucially, this internal radar doesn't attempt to deny or suppress what you feel. It simply, compassionately observes it, holding space for it all. When you deliberately connect with that tranquil point, even if just for a fleeting few seconds, something truly extraordinary begins to unfold. You cease to be the fear itself, and instead become the discerning witness to it. You no longer embody the agitated, swirling emotion. You become the steadfast one who gently holds it, who acknowledges its presence without being consumed by it. It is akin to stepping into the serene, unmoving eye of a hurricane, where all around you, The world may be spinning in chaotic frenzy, yet you discover an unshakable center, a profound stillness that remains entirely untouched by the maelstrom. From this vantage point of the witness, you are finally able to engage in a genuine, honest dialogue with what you feel. You can calmly, forthrightly, and most importantly, without any added drama, acknowledge to yourself, yes, I am afraid. Yes, I am genuinely worried about what potential disruptions may unfold. Yes, there is indeed a palpable sense of uncertainty clouding the horizon. However, I also possess an abundance of inner resources, a keen intelligence, a wellspring of love, and the inherent capacity to prepare thoughtfully, to adapt fluidly, to sustain both others and, crucially, myself. This internal dialogue, grounded in radical honesty and self-awareness, marks the very genesis of a true faith, not a childish, naive, or wishful thinking kind of faith that blithely dismisses reality, but a profound, mature faith that unflinchingly recognizes the challenging realities of life while simultaneously acknowledging and trusting in your formidable internal capacities. The faith that truly transforms, that actually reshapes your experience, is not the one that ignorantly declares nothing bad will happen, shutting its eyes tightly against the obvious truths, or willfully turning away from what it doesn't wish to see. That, my friend, is a brittle, weak faith destined to crumble and collapse with the very first tremor of adversity. Authentic faith, by contrast, is the one that courageously acknowledges that circumstances can indeed become incredibly difficult, that there may be moments of intense tension or profound uncertainty. Yet, even in the face of such stark possibilities, it resolutely decides to respond from its serene, grounded center, rather than from the reactive, chaotic periphery of panic. Instead of futilely attempting to deny the approaching storm, you consciously align yourself, gathering your inner fortitude and wisdom, preparing to cross through it with an awakened consciousness. You might, for example, choose to conduct a simple, practical inventory of what you and your loved ones might genuinely need should any societal or infrastructural cuts prolong fresh, potable water basic, non-perishable foods, a reliable flashlight, and a generous supply of batteries is small. Hand crank radio for crucial updates, essential medications, meticulously organized, important contacts lovingly written down on physical paper, tucked safely away in a pre-agreed meeting place with your cherished family members. Preparing in this manner is not a capitulation to fear profoundly. It is an unequivocal response to love. Love, in its purest form, cares deeply. Love anticipates the fundamental needs, striving to ensure that loved ones are never left vulnerable or unprepared. Love, through foresight and action, consciously creates space for a calming reassurance. And when your body, a finely tuned instrument, senses that the essentials are covered, when it truly perceives that there's a thoughtful plan, a clear organization, a comforting sense of order, it instinctively ceases to broadcast those incessant, high-pitched alarm messages. It is then, and only then, that the genuine possibility of real, enduring calm graciously opens up within you. This profound calm is neither false nor forced. It is an awake, deeply sustained, and profoundly present calm that empowers you to act decisively, purposefully, and without ever losing the essence of your humanity. This internal radar is precisely that remarkable mechanism that enables your transition from blind, reflexive fear to an active, engaged faith. not a passive faith that merely idly waits for everything to magically resolve without your dedicated participation, but an active, vibrant faith that unequivocally declares, I will diligently do what is entirely within my hands, and what remains beyond my control, I will humbly and trustingly deliver to an intelligence far greater than my own. In that exquisite, harmonious balance where you conscientiously do your part with diligence and love, and simultaneously release that which you simply cannot control, fear inevitably loses its iron grip, its oppressive throne, and your radiant soul gracefully takes the helm. When this profound shift occurs, you're no longer a hapless victim tossed about by external events. Instead, you transmute into a conscious, empowered being, fully capable of navigating the tumultuous waters of uncertainty with unwavering clarity, quiet dignity, and an emanating light. And this extraordinary capacity, this finely tuned internal radar, will serve as your steadfast compass, your unyielding anchor, not merely during this particular solar storm, but through every single future test and trial that life inevitably brings your way. Now, let's consider a practical approach, a ritual of the 4 elements, designed specifically to anchor your spirit during these potentially volatile, magnetically charged days. When the scientific community releases information detailing altered magnetic fields, or warning of increased interference, or tracking solar particles hurtling toward Earth, it might seem, on the surface, that such cosmic phenomena bear no discernible relation to your intricate emotional life. But consider this your own internal magnetic field, your subtle energy, your precise mental state, and your delicate emotional balance can feel equally confused, disoriented, dispersed, or even profoundly saturated by these unseen forces. Your physical body perceives far more than you consciously acknowledge. Your soul feels much more deeply than it verbally expresses. In moments such as these, a profoundly deep yet beautifully simple way to reorder and rebalance yourself is to consciously return to the timeless, elemental wisdom embodied by earth, water, air, and fire. This is not to be approached as a mere symbolic gesture or a fleeting abstract concept, but rather as a real, tangible, and deeply experiential engagement that meticulously works to restore coherence to your entire being. Imagine, for a moment, that the entire planet itself is undergoing a colossal adjustment, meticulously rearranging its molecular structure, vibrating differently, precisely because the sun is relentlessly sending forth a particularly intense, almost palpable energetic impulse. Now, extend that thought to yourself. Consider that you, as an individual cell within the vast, interconnected body of humanity, also inherently need to adjust to recalibrate. Just as the Earth, with its immense gravitational pull and protective magnetic field, intuitively seeks its own equilibrium in the face of a powerful solar storm, so too does your very heart yearn to find its balance amidst the swirling currents of your emotions. Returning to the foundational 4 elements is a powerful, grounding method to gently remind your entire system, mind, body, and spirit that is not isolated, not adrift, but fundamentally a cherished part of something infinitely greater and profoundly stable. The Earth, in its unwavering constancy, offers you unparalleled stability, a deep sense of rootedness. So, take a few deliberate minutes, consciously dedicating them to feeling real, undeniable contact with the ground beneath you. If circumstances allow, remove your shoes and socks, and gently rest your bare feet on a firm, cool surface, whether it's the rich, damp soil of a garden, the textured roughness of a stone patio, or even the solid, reassuring floorboards inside your home. Feel the subtle energy exchanging, the quiet conversation between your being and the very foundation of existence. Your true home, the sanctuary within. Take a moment now to truly feel how your entire weight surrenders to the comforting embrace of the ground beneath you. Picture it vividly, a palpable release as your shoulders drop, your muscles soften, and your worries, like heavy burdens, begin to descend from your mind, flowing downward, away from your conscious thought. Observe how tension, that persistent knot in your neck or jaw, falls downward, dissipating with each outward breath, as if the very force of gravity itself were a tender, unwavering form of universal care, gently pulling away all that does not serve you. Now, extend your imagination further, visualize vibrant, invisible roots radiant with life, extending directly from the soles of your feet, delving deep through layers of earth, past rock and soil, all the way to the pulsing, molten heart of the planet itself. As you breathe deeply and rhythmically, allow these powerful affirmations to resonate silently within your being. I am here. I am sustained. I'm not floating aimlessly. This profound phrase, spoken not just with your voice, but from the very core of your heart, possesses an unparalleled power. It anchors your vital energy more deeply, more securely than any fleeting external distraction or transient concern ever could. Water, that elemental source of life, offers you profound cleansing and the invaluable wisdom of fluidity. It is the very essence that patiently reminds you that nothing in existence remains perpetually fixed. Everything is in a constant state of flux, of dynamic motion. Just as a river continually flows, so too is every emotion a transient current, meant to pass through you, not to stagnate within. Consider taking a glass of water now. Drink it slowly, mindfully, allowing your senses to truly register the cool, refreshing liquid as it embarks on its journey down your throat, warming slightly as it descends through your chest, and finally settling gently into your belly. Can you feel its life-giving presence? Let this simple act, this intimate connection with water, become a powerful lesson in the art of letting go. If you feel compelled, take a moment to write down on a small piece of paper a worry that has been relentlessly weighing on your spirit, an emotion you find agonizingly hard to release, or perhaps a particular situation that relentlessly siphons away your inner peace. Once it's penned, clearly visible before you, gather your resolve and then decisively tear that sheet of paper into tiny, fragmented pieces. Through this symbolic yet incredibly potent act, you're consciously allowing the restorative water of life to metaphorically carry away that burdensome weight, dissolving its power over you. Further amplify this release by washing your hands with full, deliberate consciousness, not merely cleaning your skin, but envisioning it as a ritualistic act of purifying your entire energy field, rinsing away lingering negativity or residual tension. It's astonishing, isn't it, how such a seemingly small, physical gesture can unlock and expand an immense, liberating internal space within you. Air, that invisible, omnipresent force, is your most direct, unwavering bridge to the very essence of life itself. Every single inhalation you draw, that silent, profound intake of breath, serves as the clearest, most undeniable proof that you are still present, still vibrant, still utterly here. Consider the sheer grace of it. You do not, and never have to, do anything extraordinary to deserve life. You simply breathe, and life, in its infinite generosity, flows effortlessly into you. To truly connect with this primal force, practice rhythmic breathing. Begin by inhaling deeply, slowly, silently counting to 5 as your lungs expand. Then, just as gently, exhale, counting to 5 once more, releasing everything. Strive to maintain this steady, soothing rhythm for a few minutes, allowing it to become a natural cadence. As you breathe, become an attentive listener. Can you hear the subtle, almost imperceptible sound of the air as it enters and leaves your body? Observe with detached curiosity how your chest visibly rises and falls, how your abdomen gently expands and contracts with each breath. Air, by its very nature, does not belong to you. It is a shared, ephemeral gift that comes and goes, constantly moving through the world. Yet, while it passes through you, filling and revitalizing your every cell, it serves as a profound reminder that you are inextricably part of a greater, interconnected flow, not a solitary island, but an integral part of a vast, continuous, living movement. With each conscious inhalation, you actively invite calm, a tranquil stillness, to permeate your being. And with each deliberate exhalation, you are empowered to release, to truly let go of any lingering anxiety or tension that may reside within. Fire, that captivating dance of light and warmth, represents the very core of your spirit, your indelible spark, your ever-awakening consciousness. Approach this element with reverence. Light a candle now, not as a casual act, but with profound care and focused intention. Allow yourself to be mesmerized by the flame's vibrant presence. Observe it closely, watch how it gracefully moves, a miniature life force in itself. Sometimes it will gently flicker and sway, responding to the slightest change in the air currents around it. At other moments, it might appear to dim, perhaps even seem about to extinguish itself, only to then bravely reignite and stand firm, unwavering in its resolve. So, too, is your soul a beacon of resilience. Even amidst the most tumultuous emotional storms, when your feelings rage and move violently within you, there remains an inviolable part of you, your inner core, that steadfastly stands, unshakable and eternal. Now, with deep sincerity, declare in a low, resonant voice some simple yet profoundly meaningful intention. Let your words flow from your heart, perhaps something akin to this: may this luminous flame represent my unwavering decision not to extinguish my inner light, my intrinsic warmth, my unique spirit, even if the external world trembles around me, even if chaos threatens to engulf everything. May my thoughts be consistently nurtured by clarity, sharpened by insight, and always lead to deeper understanding. And may all my actions, every step I take, every choice I make, be born authentically from a place of boundless love, rather than from the constricting grip of fear. In that precise, sacred instant, as you utter these powerful words, the tangible fire outside and the metaphorical fire within you, your awakened spirit, connect in a potent, synchronous embrace. Understand that this ritual, potent as it is, does not possess the power to alter the sun's activity or miraculously halt an impending storm. What it does unequivocally change, however, is your fundamental way of being within the unfolding reality, transforming how you experience and respond to whatever arises. This elemental journey, this conscious engagement with earth, water, air, and fire, has a transformative impact. It roots you firmly, grounding your very essence to the planet. It cleanses you, purifying both body and spirit. It calms you, bringing a profound sense of peace amidst life's turbulence. It centers you, aligning you with your authentic self, and finally, it ignites you with a serene, unwavering fire, not a destructive inferno that burns to annihilate, but a brilliant, illuminating flame that guides and clarifies. When your spirit is thus deeply anchored, when you fully remember and embrace the profound truth that you are an integral part of something far vaster and more enduring than the fleeting instability of any given moment, than any external solar storm or internal emotional tempest, is experienced and navigated in an entirely different way. The objective is not to escape or avoid what happens in life, nor to retreat from its challenges. Rather, it is about cultivating such a deep, unshakable presence within yourself, becoming so profoundly rooted in your own being that absolutely nothing external, no crisis, no upheaval, no distraction possesses the power to uproot you from your sacred center. That, my friend, is the true anchor. It is not a physical object you can grasp, nor a rigid, dogmatic belief system you must blindly adhere to. Instead, it is a vibrant, living presence residing eternally within you, an intrinsic part of your deepest self. And when you finally awaken to and discover that powerful, immutable presence, a profound understanding dawns. You realize that the storm, in whatever form it manifested, did not actually come to frighten or break you. Instead, its true purpose was to serve as a powerful, undeniable reminder of who you truly are, in your most resilient, most luminous essence. Now, let's turn our attention to the vital realm of human networks, a profound and necessary return to the comforting, protective shelter of the collective heart. For decades, we have increasingly placed our trust and our entire sense of connection in a vast, intricate web of invisible technological networks, towering antennas, orbiting satellites, and countless miles of fiber optic cables that seamlessly connect us to the entire global village. From the palm of your hand, wielding your smartphone, you can effortlessly speak with a loved one thousands of kilometers away, witness live events unfolding on the opposite side of the planet, or instantaneously glean news and information that in a not-so-distant past would have taken days, even weeks, to circulate. Undeniably, this pervasive technology has been a truly wonderful, almost miraculous bridge spanning distances and fostering unprecedented communication. However, often without fully realizing the subtle shift, it has also been gradually, insidiously replacing another far older, intrinsically human, and ultimately more essential network, the irreplaceable human network. This is the organic, tangible network comprised of shared gazes, supportive hands, comforting voices, and empathetic hearts that intimately connect people sharing the same physical space, breathing the same air, living in immediate proximity. Suddenly, disruptive events, like the hypothetical solar storm currently threatening to severely impact our cherished internet infrastructure, global navigation systems, and essential communication channels, starkly reveal how incredibly vulnerable our sense of security truly becomes when it rests solely upon the ephemeral digital realm. It's a jarring awakening, isn't it? In that moment of potential disruption, you might suddenly realize that if digital platforms fail, if urgent messages simply don't arrive, if critical calls refuse to connect, there are countless bonds seemingly strong in the digital sphere that irrevocably break. Why? Because they never cultivated genuine, resilient roots in the tangible, nearby reality of shared physical space. It's akin to waking from a dream and discovering with dismay that you've been sustaining your entire life, your sense of purpose and connection, on a complex web of intricate cables and unseen frequencies that you, personally, have no control over whatsoever. Simultaneously, you've inadvertently neglected the very bonds, the real-world relationships that could offer profound warmth, practical shelter, and unwavering human connection precisely when all those digital lifelines inevitably turn off. This then becomes a crucial moment. It is time to consciously look around you, to cast your gaze beyond the glowing screen and genuinely ask yourself who is truly there, in the flesh within your immediate physical world. Perhaps you, like so many, do not even know the name of the neighbor who lives just wall towel from you. Have you ever truly paused to inquire who might be in need of assistance? Perhaps an elderly individual living alone, a single parent struggling in your building, or a family on your block with limited resources who could depend on a simple, extended hand of kindness if circumstances become unexpectedly complicated. In the everyday rhythm of normality, this growing distance and emotional disconnection can be easily hidden, conveniently papered over by our digital distractions. But when an external storm, be it cosmic or terrestrial, profoundly shakes our complex systems, it unmercifully exposes the gaping cracks and profound vulnerabilities in our collective emotional disconnection, forcing us to confront what we've lost. The human network, unlike its digital counterpart, does not spontaneously appear. It is not simply there. Rather, it is a living, breathing tapestry that must be meticulously woven, thread by precious thread. It is intricately woven with countless small, deliberate acts of presence, a fleeting greeting that ceases to be an automatic, perfunctory utterance and transforms into a genuinely sincere, heartfelt acknowledgement. It is woven with the brave act of knocking on a neighbor's door, not solely to ask for a favor, but with the open intention to offer help, support, or simply shared company. You can begin with the most fundamental, yet most powerful. Gestures extend a warm greeting, introduce yourself authentically, clearly state your name, then inquire about the other person's name, make a conscious effort to remember that name, and crucially, use it again when you next meet. These seemingly minor interactions are the very foundation upon which community is built. Beyond basic greetings, you can actively offer to share crucial information, to alert others if something significant happens in the neighborhood, or to help coordinate a designated physical meeting point should digital communications fail entirely. Delve deeper, initiate conversations to discover what unique skills your neighbors possess, what practical resources they might be able to share, or what collective agreements you could forge together in preparation for potential prolonged service failures. Perhaps one person is trained in first aid and can provide emergency medical assistance. Another might have essential tools for repairs or construction. Someone else could possess culinary skills, capable of cooking hearty meals for several families. A neighbor might own a reliable vehicle for transportation, Yet another could offer invaluable technical knowledge for rudimentary repairs. However, while these practical contributions are undeniably vital for resilience, what is truly, profoundly transformative in building these networks is the emotional connection, the shared humanity. When you take the time to truly listen to someone speak of their fears, their hopes, their struggles, or their small joys, you're not just gathering information, you're forging a bond of empathy and understanding, creating a deep, resonant connection that transcends circumstance and strengthens the very fabric of your collective existence. This act of genuine listening, of being truly present for another, is the mortar that binds the bricks of a robust human network, transforming mere proximity into genuine community, building a shared sense of belonging and mutual reliance. Their fears, their intertwined histories, their unspoken hopes suddenly, the invisible walls that have long separated us begin to subtly, yet profoundly, collapse. That person you once merely glimpsed on the stairs, perhaps their face a fleeting blur, an anonymous fixture in the background of your busy day, now transforms. They cease to be just a silhouette and emerge as a vibrant, complex human being, possessing a heart as exquisitely fragile and fiercely brave as your very own. What was once perceived as an other now mirrors back a shared humanity. You start to perceive those around you not as detached strangers, but rather as poignant reflections. Someone who, like you, grapples with the gnawing pangs of uncertainty, who cherishes an innate desire to shield their loved ones from harm, and who, at their deepest core, yearns for the comforting embrace of companionship. This mutual, profound recognition cultivates an entirely different atmosphere, a climate almost tangible in its shift. The very air around you seems to soften, losing its previously crisp, isolating edge, and the overall environment sheds its cold, impersonal veneer, replaced by an inviting warmth. In this newly forged space of genuine connection, you might find yourselves naturally drawing together, inviting a small, intimate circle of conversation, even when the broader, external channels of communication have utterly failed. Imagine gathering in a communal living room, perhaps on a sun-dappled patio, or even just within the threshold of an entrance, allowing yourselves the grace and courage to articulate what stirs within how you truly feel, the anxieties that weigh heavily upon your spirit, the unspoken needs you carry, and even the unique gifts or support you feel you can offer. The beauty of these moments lies not in the pressure to find a brilliant solution for any once intricate life challenges. No, the profound alchemy happens simply by truly listening, by meeting another's gaze with unwavering eye contact, by offering a gentle, affirming nod, or perhaps a comforting, steady hand. Often, the most profound balm for a distressed soul isn't a dazzling resolution, but rather the quiet, unshakable certainty of not navigating life's storms in utter solitude. This deceptively simple practice holds the power to significantly lower collective anxiety, acting as a potent catalyst for igniting an authentic sense of real community, a precious commodity that no ephemeral group chat, however convenient, can ever fully replicate. The spiritual dimension woven into this act of communion is truly profound. It is where the human heart, in its rawest, most vulnerable state, recognizes and deeply resonates with another human heart. When two or more individuals come together with unvarnished sincerity, shedding their societal masks, and abandoning all pretense. An invisible, yet powerfully palpable, field of containment begins to form around them. It's akin to an energetic network, pulsing with life, that cradles and sustains, gently reminding each person that they are not a desolate, lost island adrift in an indifferent, boundless ocean. This heart network needs no fickle Wi-Fi signal, depends on no finite batteries, nor does it crash under the fierce assault of a solar storm. Its very essence is born from the fundamental, simple act of being present with another. While the vast, intricate digital network may tremble and falter under external pressures, the heart network possesses an inherent resilience, capable of strengthening and expanding as never before. Life, in its wisdom, often places you at a poignant crossroads during such times. Will you choose to remain locked in the stifling confines of fear, anxiously awaiting the return of a signal to feel artificially safe again? Or will you seize this profound shakeup, this unexpected disruption, as an unprecedented opportunity to weave new, resilient bonds connections that will endure, solid and true, even when technology inevitably fails? You possess the power to choose action, to knock on a neighbor's door, inquiring if they might be in need to share a small portion of what you have, be it a loaf of bread or a moment of your time, to simply offer the profound gift of your company. In these small, almost invisible gestures, acts that might seem insignificant to the bustling world outside, the very greatest essence of the human spirit is profoundly revealed. And when the tempest has finally passed, that newly fortified human network will still stand, an enduring edifice, more solid, more consciously aware than before. It will serve as a powerful, living reminder that true security was never merely predicated on fleeting signals and ephemeral downloads, but rather on our inherent capacity to truly be present with one another and to genuinely care. You will awaken to the profound truth that not all of life's most important bonds reside behind a glowing screen. Indeed, many of the most valuable, the most cherished, are meticulously built face to face, word by careful word, heartfelt gesture by empathetic gesture. Returning to the profound shelter of the collective heart is, at its deepest core, a powerful act of remembering. It's a reconnection to the ancient truth that you were born not for isolation, but to coexist, to share, to intertwine with others in a magnificent, intricate dance where each unique being contributes their own vibrant light. And that transformative discovery, far more than the transient solar storm itself, is the true catalyst for change, a profound shift that can and will transform your life from the inside out. Synchronicities in times of storm, when life speaks to you from all places and moments of intense, energetic activity, be it the cosmic churn of solar flares or the turbulent currents of internal emotional shifts, reality itself seems to become more porous, more overtly symbolic. You might find your perception suddenly sharpened, causing you to notice an array of subtle details that previously drifted by, entirely unobserved. Perhaps you catch sight of repeated sequences of numbers on the clock: 1111, 333 with uncanny frequency, or you receive messages seemingly out of the blue that resonate with astonishing precision to exactly what you were pondering mere moments before. There are serendipitous encounters with people at the precise instant you needed them, or overheard phrases in a crowded room that seem to directly answer questions you hadn't even consciously voiced aloud. It's as if the external world has become an intricate mirror, beginning to reflect your deepest internal movements with greater clarity and startling accuracy. In such heightened states, it's incredibly easy to slip into the seductive grip of superstition or descend into unreasoning panic, interpreting every unusual occurrence as an ominous announcement of impending tragedy. However, synchronicities, in their true essence, do not manifest to instill fear. Quite the contrary, they arrive as gentle, yet insistent, reminders that life, the very fabric of existence, is engaged in a continuous, profound dialogue with you. Imagine, if you will, that the entire universe is an infinite, shimmering mirror. What unfolds in the external world isn't merely random, it often reflects the subtle, often subconscious, movements within your own being. What you think, what you feel, what you consciously or unconsciously project seems to resonate with, and at times manifest as what appears before you. This isn't born from a simplistic, egocentric view where everything revolves solely around you, but rather from a deeper, more sophisticated understanding that there exists an invisible, intricate fabric, a quantum entanglement connecting events, thoughts, and emotions across vast expanses. When solar storms agitate the planet's delicate magnetic field, it's not uncommon for human beings to become more sensitive, more porous, more exquisitely receptive to this subtle, underlying fabric of connections. Your nervous system, like a finely tuned instrument, becomes more attentive. Your emotions, often raw and exposed, rise closer to the surface, and your intuition, that quiet inner knowing, becomes remarkably more awake and discerning. This newfound openness, this heightened state of perception, can indeed be unnerving, even frightening. But crucially, it is also an unparalleled opportunity to perceive, with greater clarity, how life in its boundless wisdom guides you through subtle, often unspoken ways. The absolute key, the pivot point, lies in how you choose to interpret these myriad signals. If your gaze, your inner lens, is filtered and distorted by fear, you will, without fail, perceive threats lurking everywhere. Every repeated number sequence will transform into a dark omen, a harbinger of doom. Every coincidence will be seized upon as an announcement of an impending, unavoidable disaster. But what if you consciously decide to look from a place of open curiosity and unwavering trust? Then you will begin to understand synchronicities for what they truly are: loving winks from the universe, like small, luminous lights purposefully turned on along your winding path, ensuring you never forget that you are not, and never have been, walking alone. Consider this empowering approach every time you encounter a repeated number or observe something apparently casual that recurs with curious frequency, instead of automatically asking yourself, what misfortune does this announce? What terrible thing is coming my way? Pivot your internal dialogue. Instead, pose a more introspective, empowering question: what was I deeply contemplating or feeling at this precise moment? Am I truly living in alignment with my authentic truth? Do I need to subtly adjust something on my current path? Perhaps recalibrate my internal compass? In this transformative way, synchronicity ceases to be a veiled threat, a source of anxiety. It transmutes into a conscious pause, a sacred stop on your journey, where you are granted the invaluable opportunity to reorient yourself, to find your true north. Perhaps through this diligent observation, you might begin to realize that those repeated messages or unusual coincidences consistently appear whenever you begin to stray from what you intuitively know is fundamentally right and true for your soul. Or, conversely, you might notice that every time you consciously contemplate an important life change, life itself, in its magnificent, mysterious way, casually but consistently sends you confirming information, serendipitous encounters with relevant people, or clear signals that unequivocally affirm you are indeed on the right, divinely guided path. This isn't about meticulously interpreting every single detail as if it were a direct oracle dictating your fate. Rather, it's about recognizing that there are profound moments when life, in its infinite wisdom, chooses to metaphorically raise the volume just a bit, amplifying its subtle messages so that you might listen more clearly, more attentively. You can cultivate a beautiful, empowering habit upon waking each morning. Formulate a deep and genuinely heartfelt question. It might be something like, what does my soul truly need to nourish itself today? Or, how can I best be of service? How can I be useful in the world today? Or perhaps, what vital understanding must I grasp to confidently take my next evolutionary step? There is no need to repeat this question obsessively, to grasp at it with desperation. It is enough to simply pose it from the pure, open space of your heart, and then, with profound trust, release it into the universe. Throughout your day, maintain a gentle, open awareness. Observe the coincidences that arise, the words that repeat with uncanny relevance, the unexpected encounters that unfold before you, the contents that seem to gravitate directly into your sphere of awareness. Perhaps someone you haven't connected with in a remarkably long time writes to you precisely about that very topic that has been quietly simmering in your thoughts, concerns you deeply, resonating within the quiet chambers of your being. Perhaps, quite unexpectedly, you might stumble upon a passage in a book, catch a fleeting phrase in a video, or hear a lyric in a song that, against all odds, feels like a direct, personal answer to an unarticulated question. It's as if the universe itself has leaned in to whisper something exclusively for you. Yet, it's crucial to resist the urge to obsess, to refrain from desperately seeking these signs, or to expect grand, theatrical fireworks of revelation. Instead, cultivate an inner posture of openness, allowing yourself to recognize how life subtly, yet forcefully, responds to your inner queries. When these moments of profound synchronicity occur, these uncanny coincidences that carry personal meaning, make a conscious effort to record them in your notebook. This isn't about attempting to control the unfolding of events, but rather to honor their significance. The very act of committing them to paper becomes a quiet declaration, a way of saying, I notice this, I am truly attentive, and I refuse to take this profound connection for granted. Over time, as you review these entries, you will inevitably begin to discern intricate patterns, like constellations forming in your personal cosmos. You will come to a startling realization many times. You are already being gently guided, yet you are simply too distracted, too ensnared by the glowing screen, or trapped within the relentless cacophony of your own thoughts, to truly perceive these subtle nudges. Indeed, you will come to understand, with a comforting clarity, that you are not merely adrift in a random, chaotic existence. There exists a greater, intricate order, one that you may not always fully comprehend or intellectualize, but which is undeniably present, silently weaving itself through every single turn and twist of your path. These synchronicities, these meaningful coincidences, are akin to tiny, luminous guide lights appearing on a winding road during a moonless night. They do not and cannot illuminate the entire journey stretching out before you, nor do they reveal the ultimate destination. Yet, they cast enough light to allow you to take just one more step forward, not blindly, but with a renewed sense of confidence and an inner knowing. That, in its essence, is their true, profound purpose, not to meticulously dictate your future, but rather to serve as an unwavering reminder that you are not traversing an absurd, meaningless void. On the contrary, there is a loving, intelligent presence of benevolent force sustaining the very background fabric of existence. Especially during turbulent times, when the news cycle feels overwhelmingly confusing, when social media networks saturate your mind with a cacophony of conflicting opinions, and when the future itself seems shrouded in an impenetrable mist of uncertainty, these small, internal lights become more vitally important than ever before. Consequently, instead of perceiving an increase in these strange signals as something ominous or sinister, you will begin to interpret them as undeniable proof that you are becoming more awake, more finely attuned, and deeply connected to the silent, profound conversation that unfolds ceaselessly between your innermost soul and life itself. You will grasp that the universe does not communicate with you to instigate fear or anxiety, but rather to tenderly remind you that you are an integral, cherished part of its grand design. It whispers that your individual story holds immense significance, that your deliberate decisions actively sculpt the myriad paths unfolding before you, and, most importantly, that you are never, ever forgotten. And in the very eye of any external tempest, be it global upheaval or personal crisis, or in the midst of any internal storm of emotion and doubt, the profound knowledge that life speaks to you, genuinely cares for you, and faithfully accompanies you can indeed prove to be the deepest, most soothing balm for your weary heart. Now consider the prospect of a technological rebirth after such a storm, envisioning a new, conscious way to truly be connected. When the solar activity eventually subsides, when the Earth's magnetic field gradually stabilizes, when the technical systems have been meticulously recalibrated, and the internet signal gracefully returns with a semblance of normality, it will be incredibly easy, almost effortless, to find yourself swept back into the familiar current of old habits. Your hand might almost instinctively reach for your cell phone, unlocking it without a moment's conscious thought, opening the very same applications you always did, compulsively checking delayed messages, and diligently responding to accumulated notifications. You might scroll your finger across the screen with a practiced ease, as if nothing profound or disruptive had ever truly happened. Your mind, ever a creature of comfort, will undoubtedly gravitate towards this known routine, simply because it cherishes familiarity, even if that familiarity, upon honest reflection, doesn't serve your highest good. But deep within you, a quieter, more discerning voice will know, unequivocally, that something fundamental did happen. Even as the external world frantically attempts to resume its frenetic, pre-storm rhythm, an indelible crack will remain in your consciousness, a persistent question, a subtle, yet undeniable discomfort that you will no longer be able to fully ignore. It will be like observing a tiny, almost imperceptible crack forming in what you once perceived as a perfect, unblemished wall, through which a persistent, revealing sliver of light now gently seeps. You will have experienced yourself existing without the omnipresent hum of constant digital distraction. You will have been compelled to face profound silences, those very silences you previously, almost subconsciously, filled with a cacophony of digital noise. More starkly still, you'll have unearthed a deeper dependence on the screen than you ever truly thought you would or could admit. And that raw, unvarnished discovery, while potentially painful in its honesty, is, in its very essence, sacred. At that pivotal moment, a crucial decision will lie before you. One of those silent, deeply personal choices that will never make headlines or ignite public debate, but which possesses the transformative power to completely wreck-heart the course of your inner life. You are presented with a rare opportunity to leverage this intense experience, not to demonize technology or to flee from it entirely, but to be reborn in your relationship with it. This rebirth begins with a series of questions, posed with a level of radical honesty you may have never before allowed yourself to entertain. How, truly, was I utilizing these screens before this profound disruption? You might ask yourself, delving into your past digital habits. Were they genuinely bringing me closer to my authentic self, fostering introspection and connection? Or were they insidiously drawing me further away, creating a chasm between my inner world and the external clamor? Did they empower me to love more openly, to connect more authentically, or did they merely fuel a relentless, exhausting cycle of comparison and self-judgment? Did they bestow upon me a sense of peace and tranquility, or did they subtly, yet relentlessly, steal my precious serenity? In essence, was I consciously using the networks as tools, or were the networks, in their pervasive design, surreptitiously using me? Perhaps, with a sudden, painful clarity, you will discover that your very first impulse upon waking was to instinctively grab your cell phone, to immediately plunge into the endless stream of notifications, thereby distracting yourself before you even had a chance to truly meet your own mind and body. Before you could even remember what you felt or how you truly were, you were already immersed in reading what others thought. Before you had the opportunity to ask your own soul how it dawned, how it truly felt, you were already absorbing the world's collective emotional state through a relentless barrage of headlines, messages, and comments. Perhaps the most shocking realization will be just how many precious hours of your finite life have vanished into the abyss of infinite scrolling through screens that, in the end, left you with nothing but a lingering fatigue, a dull visual saturation, and a pervasive, hard-to-name emptiness that echoed in your spirit. This profound understanding, this moment of unvarnished truth, can indeed sting. It might bring with it a wave of shame, a pang of guilt, or a deep sadness for what might have been lost. Yet, simultaneously, it possesses the immense potential to become the fertile starting point for a truly radical, internal transformation. For the moment you see something with such crystalline clarity, stripped bare of all illusions and makeup, is precisely the moment you reclaim your inherent power over it. Before, you were unwittingly dragged along by an unconscious current now, illuminated by this new awareness. You possess the profound freedom to consciously choose. The very solar storm that violently agitated external technical systems also served to agitate and stir your inner consciousness, precisely so you could gain an unobstructed view of your own ingrained patterns of digital dependence. That profound internal movement, that awakening within, is the true, undeniable epicenter of all genuine and lasting change. From this moment forward, you can deliberately choose for the first hour of your day to be sacred. Not sacred in a rigid, solemn, or overly ceremonial sense, but sacred in the deepest, most fundamental meaning of the word untouchable, utterly non-negotiable, a segment of time absolutely dedicated to what genuinely nourishes your soul and fortifies your spirit. This will be an hour consciously lived without screens, an hour where the very first thing you lovingly direct your gaze towards is not a relentless notification bar, but the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall of your own breath. It will be an hour to truly feel your physical body, to stretch it with intention, to express gratitude for its unwavering ability to sustain you throughout your life. It will be an hour to write down what you dream, what you secretly fear, and what you passionately desire. It will be an hour to pray, to meditate, to simply contemplate the quiet beauty of existence, to immerse yourself in music that elevates your spirit, or to consciously, mindfully prepare your day with intention and purpose. Imagine, if you will, the profound, transformative shifts that would ripple through your entire life if, before ever exposing yourself to the world's insistent noise and demands, you consistently met yourself deeply and authentically every single morning. If the very first voice you attentively listen to is not that of a news anchor or social media influencer, but the soft, wise whispers of your own soul. If the first image you lovingly receive is not that of a curated social network comparing you to others, but the authentic, reassuring sight of your own room, silently witnessing your conscious awakening, that initial, deliberate hour can profoundly become your unwavering anchor, your deep root, your unshakable inner refuge against the storms of the day. Furthermore, consider a conscious choice to drastically reduce notifications to only what is truly, undeniably indispensable. How many countless times each day is your precious, finite attention ruthlessly assaulted by sudden sounds, intrusive vibrations, flashing lights, and myriad small alerts that violently tear you away from whatever meaningful task or tranquil moment you were genuinely engaged in. Every single interruption fragments your precious presence, severs your train of thought, and undeniably weakens the very fiber of your concentration, scattering your vital energy in countless directions. This isn't merely a matter of lost productivity or ticking items off a checklist. It delves into the profound realm of internal dignity, the inherent respect you owe your own consciousness. You, and you alone, possess the sovereign power to choose when your gaze settles and what information it consumes. Instead of passively permitting every fleeting external stimulus, every ding, every buzz to dictate your focus, you can proactively delineate specific, intentional periods for engaging with information and distinct, sacred moments for simply being present in the here and now. Envision those times when your device, a marvel of human ingenuity, serves as a precisely wielded tool, and contrast them with the moments when it gracefully recedes, becoming nothing more than an inert object, closed and resting peacefully on a table. Imagine setting aside designated intervals to genuinely communicate and connect with others, balanced beautifully with equally crucial moments dedicated to deeply communicating with your innermost self. This clear delimitation, which might initially strike one as stringent or perhaps even a little rigid, is in truth a profoundly metaphysical act, touching upon the very essence of existence and awareness. It is, in effect, your unequivocal declaration to life itself, a resonant statement echoing my consciousness is an invaluable, sacred resource. I will not squander it thoughtlessly, nor will I abandon it to the capricious whims and ceaseless demands of any algorithm. What a powerful stance to adopt. Furthermore, you possess the extraordinary capacity to consciously choose to become a veritable channel of light, broadcasting positivity and wisdom through the very technology that often ensnares us. Rather than succumbing to the default tendency to use digital platforms solely for superficial distraction, corrosive comparison, or the draining of your precious energy, you can consciously repurpose them. You can leverage these omnipresent tools to share content that genuinely heals wounds, profoundly inspires the spirit, offers comforting companionship, or gently reminds another soul of their own intrinsic, brilliant light. Consider the meticulous care you might take in tending a delicate garden. In much the same way, you can, and indeed must, choose with utmost discernment what is allowed to enter the intricate landscape of your mind through your eyes and ears. Understand this deeply. Every fleeting image, every spoken or written word, every subtle sound leaves indelible traces, energetic imprints within your very being, shaping your inner landscape. Truly, your mind is a meticulously cultivated garden, and the information you consume serves as the potent seeds. So, cultivate a vital habit, consistently pause and inquire of yourself. With unwavering honesty, does what I see, hear, or share genuinely expand my soul, filling it with wonder and possibility, or does it cause it to contract in fear and anxiety? Does it draw me closer to an inner sense of peace and tranquility, or does it merely clutter my mind with incessant noise and mental agitation? Does it forge a deeper connection to my fundamental humanity, fostering empathy and understanding, or does it subtly alienate me from it? The moment you embark upon this journey of profound self-inquiry, the screen, which once threatened to become a voracious black hole, relentlessly swallowing your finite attention, astonishingly transforms. It becomes a reflective mirror, offering a clear, guiding glimpse of the person you truly aspire to be. The recent solar storm, that cosmic tremor which so powerfully threatened to plunge significant portions of our interconnected digital infrastructure into darkness, can, for you, mark not an end, but a profound new beginning. It can herald the dawn of a more mature, more mindful relationship with the digital realm, a veritable technological rebirth. In this awakened state, your devices cease to be the subtle, often invisible cages that subtly bind you. Instead, they metamorphose into conscious, potent tools, meticulously sharpened and aligned to serve your highest purpose, to articulate your deepest truth, and to amplify your meaningful service to the world. This profound technological rebirthing is not an ascetic call to abandon all forms of technology, quite the contrary. It is an invitation to the art of precise placement, of thoughtfully assigning each element its rightful, harmonious position within your life. Envision technology residing in its proper, supportive place, while your luminous soul remains steadfastly anchored at the very center of your existence. Your devices, rather than replacing your authentic presence, become mere extensions of your conscious intention, amplifying your reach and impact. Similarly, social networks are seen as a useful means to an end, a conduit for connection, never a substitute for genuine human interaction or, more critically, an emotional refuge from the sometimes challenging realities of life. When this profound shift in perspective truly takes root, technology miraculously ceases its subtle domination over you. Instead, it transforms into a powerful, unwavering ally in your personal awakening, actively supporting your growth. You liberate yourself from the draining paradox of living disconnected from your own self, all while superficially pretending to be robustly connected to absolutely everyone else. You then embark on a transformative journey where every single message you receive, every post you encounter, every search query you initiate becomes a precious opportunity. An opportunity not just to consume, but to become profoundly more conscious, more genuinely awake, and more deeply aligned with your core values and purpose. The days of aimlessly losing yourself within the endless, disorienting labyrinths of the screen are over. Now, you navigate these digital pathways with a brightly lit candle firmly in hand, a beacon of inner knowing. You move with purpose, intimately aware of who you are at your core and precisely where you are consciously choosing to direct your precious energy and attention. After the tempestuous solar storm, the global collective may well yearn to simply revert to a familiar normality. However, you, having undergone this profound internal shift, will possess the deep, intuitive understanding that you did not arrive in this extraordinary epoch merely to exist in a state of simple, unquestioning normality. No, you arrived to remember long-forgotten truths, to awaken to your highest potential, and to deliberately choose a more profoundly conscious life. This technological rebirth, while significant, is but one powerful pathway through which your soul can unequivocally declare enough, to the slumber of unconsciousness and wholeheartedly proclaim yes, to an entirely new paradigm of connection, a connection that begins deeply within, rooted to your heart's wisdom, aligned with your soul's purpose, and vibrantly tethered to life itself. And only from this authentic, grounded place can you then genuinely connect to the wider world around you. This, then, is the pact of lighta conscious, unwavering decision that fearlessly traverses the storm and illuminates everything that inevitably follows in its wake. As we reach the culmination of this introspective journey, the truly essential question is not, in fact, how intensely powerful the solar storm ultimately proved to be, nor the precise number of satellites whose functions were temporarily disturbed, nor the exact duration for which the internet remained frustratingly unstable. The truly vital question is something entirely different, something far more intimate, exquisitely delicate, and gloriously luminous. It is this what, at the deepest level, shifted and transformed within you. Who were you, truly, in the quiet moments before the storm erupted? And, perhaps most significantly, who do you profoundly begin to be now, having consciously traversed its depths? What previously latent part of your consciousness unfurled and blossomed when you were confronted with the stark realization that your perceived sense of security, that bedrock of certainty, was in fact precariously supported on foundations of fragile, temporary, and profoundly vulnerable things? When a solar storm, or any monumental life event shakes the very earth beneath your feet, it simultaneously, fundamentally shakes you. It unsparingly exposes the myriad things you had so casually taken for granted, the unspoken assumptions that underpinned your daily existence. It forces into vivid clarity what you had passively sustained year after year without a single moment of questioning. It chillingly reveals the unsettling ease with which something entirely external, utterly beyond your control, can dramatically alter and even destabilize your entire inner world, that is, until you consciously decide, with absolute resolve, that you simply refuse to live in that way any longer. It unfurls and lays bare the immense, often overwhelming forces of the cosmos that you cannot possibly control, underscoring our human vulnerability. It is a deep, almost sacred invitation, extending an opportunity to forge a pact of light with your own being. This is not a pact of perfection, for no human soul can realistically promise never to stumble, never to fall. It is certainly not a pact of invulnerability, because the capacity to feel, to experience the full spectrum of emotions, is an intrinsic and beautiful part of what it means to be gloriously human. No, this is a pact of unwavering commitment, of profound presence, and of luminous consciousness. It is a sacred agreement where you courageously accept that more storms, not merely solar, but emotional tempests, economic upheavals, familial challenges, and spiritual trials will undoubtedly arise on your life's horizon. And in this pact, you solidify the understanding that while you may not always possess the power to control the external circumstances, you absolutely retain the ultimate agency to decide, with grace and strength, who you will authentically be amidst them all. So, I invite you to take up your notebook, once more not just any random sheet of paper, but that specific, cherished one you turn to in those potent moments when the enforced silence compelled you to truly listen to your inner voice. Breathe deeply, consciously, allowing the breath to fill your lungs and center your being. Sit with an undeniable sense of dignity, of self-respect. Gently place one hand over your heart, and beneath your fingertips, allow yourself to truly feel the steady, resilient beat of a life, your Lithia life, that has faithfully accompanied you from the very first instant of your existence, and will continue its rhythmic dance until your very last. Then, allow the words, the authentic expressions of your soul, to emerge from an honest, naked place within you, stripped bare of any pretense or ornamentation, free from the striving to sound good or impressive. Let them be born as naturally and effortlessly as rivers carve their ancient paths across the land. You might find yourself writing something akin to the following. But remember, let your unique soul adapt it to its own singular, resonant tone. I recognize, with deep humility, that life is an ever-shifting tapestry of change, that this magnificent earth moves through its timeless cycles, that our radiant sun pulses with an undeniable, mighty force. And in the midst of this grand, cosmic ballet, my soul is continuously learning, evolving, expanding. I accept that there will be moments when I feel the chilling touch of fear, when agitation stirs within me, when I inevitably lose my way. Yet, from this very day forward, I make the unwavering decision not to remain trapped, ensnared, or defined by that fear. I decide, with conscious intent, to nurture my mind with profound love and gentle understanding, to nourish my body with unwavering respect and mindful care, and to listen to the whispers of my heart with unparalleled attention and discernment. I decide to finally cease living an existence dulled, almost anesthetized by the constant glow of screens, and instead to embark on a journey of living more fully awake, more vibrantly present, and more deeply connected to the authentic, tangible reality that surrounds me. I decide to embody a steadfast point of calm and unwavering presence when others around me succumb to panic, to offer an available, empathetic ear when another soul desperately needs to speak their truth, and to become a resonant voice that gently reminds us all that there exists something far more profound, something deeper and more eternal than the fleeting crisis of the moment. Above all, I decide to trust, implicitly and completely, that there is a greater intelligence at play, a benevolent, guiding force that orchestrates the grand symphony of existence, guiding this profound process without ever relinquishing my inherent human responsibility. For no matter the tumultuous currents swirling outside, the disorienting shifts, the pervasive anxieties, I consciously choose not to dim, much less extinguish my inner light. I urge you, read those potent words aloud, letting them escape your lips, even if only in the softest whisper. Allow their resonance to deepen within you, to vibrate through the very core of your chest, inviting your entire internal field to absorb their truth. Picture yourself not merely inscribing them onto a page, but deeply sealing them within your very energy, like an unbreakable agreement, a sacred covenant your soul forges with the grand tapestry of life itself. You are absolved from a need for formal signatures. No witnesses are required, and certainly no complex, elaborate rituals are necessary. The sole, singular force that imbues this intimate pact with its undeniable power is your absolute sincerity, your unvarnished authenticity. Why is this so crucial? Because the inevitable truth is that storms will undoubtedly return, heralded by alarming news that pricks at our collective consciousness. Unforeseen changes that upend our routines, vast global movements that reshape our world, and those profound moments when it feels as if the very fabric of existence darkens a little, threatening to obscure our path. Yet, if you have diligently undertaken this vital inner work, if you have consciously paused to truly look within yourself, if you have embraced the profound clarity of silence instead of reflexively fleeing from its depths, if you have managed to ignite the vibrant, inextinguishable luminescence of your internal aurora, if you have purposefully strengthened the intricate threads of your human network, fostering deeper connections, if you have deliberately reordered your relationship with technology, transforming it from a master to a mindful tool, and crucially, if you have learned the alchemical art of transmuting raw fear into an active, empowering faith in, and only then, every future storm, regardless of its ferocity, will metamorphose into yet another ascending step in your grand journey of consciousness. Each external impact, far from being a barrier, will instead become an unexpected internal door, swinging open to new understandings. Every disquieting uncertainty will serve as a potent reminder, gently guiding you back to your unwavering center. And every challenging test will, in essence, be a profound return to the brilliance of your own light. Consider the solar storm currently lashing our Earth, an event that does far more than just disrupt internet services, scramble signals, disorient navigation systems, and sever communication lines. It is not merely a fascinating physical phenomenon observed by scientists. Instead, it serves as an undeniable, forceful reminder that we are intrinsically interwoven within a living, breathing, dynamic, constantly mobile, and ancient universe. Here, nothing remains truly still. Nothing is absolutely permanent, and absolutely nothing is completely controllable by human design or will. How could we possibly be separate from this cosmic dance? You are, in every fiber of your being, an intrinsic part of its magnificent, ceaseless movement. The very same elemental force that agitates our planet's unstable magnetosphere is, on more subtle, profound levels, simultaneously shaking internal structures within us that can no longer legitimately sustain themselves. These are the crumbling edifices of old fears that have long overstayed their welcome, rigid beliefs that have stifled growth, suffocating habits that constrain our true potential, and even entire identities that no longer fit the evolving, authentic human being you are bravely beginning to embody. Indeed, you will witness mesmerizing auroras dancing closer to the equator, painting skies with hues so unusual they seem to defy earthly palate's lights that appear to speak a language far beyond human comprehension. You will absorb news reports that paradoxically weave narratives of both palpable risk and breathtaking beauty in the same breath. You will observe the scientific community diligently observing, complex systems adjusting in real time, and specialists meticulously analyzing every single data point. But let me assure you, none of those external explanations, however detailed or scientifically precise, can ever fully replace the most profoundly important scene of all. That scene is of you, in a moment of solitary introspection, alone with yourself, perhaps seated in serene silence, your hand gently resting on your chest, as you ask yourself the most fundamental question: what kind of human being do I truly choose to be in this pivotal, transformative time? For true connection, the kind that binds us at the soul level, does not fragment or break when the signal drops on your device. True light, the inherent illumination within your spirit, does not flicker into darkness when the screen of your phone goes black. And true guidance, the compass that navigates your deepest. Purpose does not emanate from external antennas or sprawling networks, but rather from the deep, resonant silence within your very core. It is within this sacred, internal space that fear loses its power to govern, and truth, in its purest form, has no need to shout or demand attention. It simply exists, self-evident and clear. May this current storm, therefore, transcend merely being a passing news item, a fleeting curious event, or simply one more vague memory lost among thousands. Instead, may it profoundly become a pivotal turning point, a definitive before and after in the way you consciously inhabit your own precious life. May it be recognized not as a calamity, but as a liberating crack through which even more light, more wisdom, more understanding can brilliantly enter your world. If the mighty sun, in its cosmic dance, can perpetually remember and wield its immense strength, can you not also remember and reclaim the dormant power within you? If the ancient earth, in its geological wisdom, can withstand the relentless shake and shift, can you not also stand firm and withstand the tremors in your own journey? And when you do, when you truly commit to this internal resilience, you will unearth a magnificent truth that beyond any technological failure, beyond any intrusive interference, beyond the veil of apparent chaos, there beats an unwavering certainty, a truth so profound it is impossible to cut, to sever, or to extinguish. This is the luminous certainty that your soul is ever on its destined path, continually growing, tirelessly learning, perpetually awakening. And even amidst the global trembling that rattles the external world, know this anew, more profound order